I left my wife by herself when she talks in a cringy manner. Ever since we had our baby 6 months ago, my wife started talking like she was a toddler herself. At first I thought it was cute, just normal new mom stuff where she'd baby talk to our kid. But then it started happening when she talked to me, to cashiers, even to my boss when he called the house. Instead of saying normal things like thanks or excuse me, she'd make these weird sounds like tank oo woo and scoosasee woozy. She'd giggle after every sentence and talk in this high-pitched voice that sounded like a cartoon character. When she wanted me to pass the salt at dinner, she'd say something like, "Daddy Waddy, can you pass the salty walty, please?" I tried being nice about it at first. I'd say stuff like, "Babe, you can talk normal to me," or, "Honey, the baby isn't even here right now," but she'd just laugh it off and say I was being silly. She honestly had no clue how embarrassing it was. People would stare at us in the grocery store when she'd ask the clerk, "Where do you keep the nana-nanas?" instead of just saying bananas. The breaking point happened last Tuesday when we finally got a babysitter and went out for our first date night since the baby was born. I was so excited to have some normal adult time together. We went to this nice Italian place downtown that I'd been wanting to try. The kind of place where people dress up and the waiters wear actual uniforms. When our waiter came over, I ordered my usual chicken parmesan and a beer. Then my wife looked up at him with this huge grin and said, "Oh, I want the speggy weddy with the yummy wummy meatballs, please. And can I have a drinky winky too? Maybe the pinky winky wine?" The waiter just stood there with this confused look on his face. He probably thought she was having some kind of mental breakdown. Other tables started looking over at us. I could feel my face getting red hot. The waiter finally figured out she wanted spaghetti and meatballs with pink wine, but he kept giving her weird looks the whole time. During dinner, she kept doing it. When she dropped her fork, she said, "Oopsie whoopsie." When the food came, she clapped her hands and said, "Yay, yay, yay, foodie time." She even tried to feed me a bite while making airplane noises. I was mortified. Then when the waiter came to check on us, she grabbed his arm and said, "This foodie is super duper yummy wummy. You did such a good job. The poor guy looked like he wanted to call security or something. I saw him talking to the hostess and pointing at our table. That's when I snapped. I put my napkin down, looked at her and said, "I'm taking a break from this. I don't need to babysit 2 kids tonight." Then I just got up and walked out of the restaurant. I sat in my car for like 20 minutes trying to calm down. Part of me felt bad for leaving her there, but I was so embarrassed I couldn't even think straight. When I finally went back inside to get her, she was sitting at the table crying. The waiter had brought her the check and she was trying to figure out how to pay with her debit card. On the drive home, she kept asking me why I left and saying she didn't understand what she did wrong. I tried explaining how embarrassing it was when she talked like a baby to strangers, but she got defensive and said she was just being fun and playful. She said I was being mean and that all new moms talk to their babies this way. I told her there's a difference between talking to the baby like that and talking to grown adults like that. She cried the rest of the way home and hasn't really talked to me much since then.